Good afternoon. Oh, that's good. Hope you're all doing well, enjoying the nice weather. A bit breezy here, but I'm on the coast, so you can't odds that. Postman's been a few times. Excuse me a second. As soon as you start the camera rolling, you need to blow your nose. Sod's law. Postman has been a few times, and bought some interesting things. Oh, by the way, I found the turntable. It was under a mound of stuff in the other room. So at the end of this video I'll tack on a little bit of footage of the Wellington command stand on the turntable so you can have a proper look at it. Yeah, postman's bin. Going to be interesting painting that camouflage for sure. Always the way. Ding, ding, ding. Winter combatants. And what I like most of all, a Fallschirmjäger mortar team. So I look forward to get stuck into that for sure. But what I really wanted, well, this came. Job lot of grass tufts, seem to get through an inordinate amount of grass tufts. But what I really wanted to make some stands of trees for the gaming table. So I bought a job lot of bases. A bit disappointed in these really, because the illustration on the listing showed you buy them in a bundle of 8, but it showed them as sort of 8 different shapes in the listing, and I've got more or less 8 all the same. So, excuse me, a little bit disappointed, but they will do. But they will do. So, I bought a couple of packs of trees, or bush trees. That's a really good name for somebody selling trees, isn't it? Bush. Yeah, got a couple of packs of them. I think there's 3, 6, 9, yeah, 12 in a pack. 24 trees. But then I saw online, I just happened to be looking, and I saw somebody put up a listing, and he had a job lot of unused trees in the right scale. So I thought, well, very nice trees indeed. I would imagine they're supposed to be something like oak, something like that. 1 or 2 little conifers in there, but mostly it's these. So that's a sort of autumn type shade. Mostly it's these. biggish trees. So 20 quid for the lot. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So I have more than enough trees now to deal with. So when we've 5 minutes and we feel like it, we'll whack a load of them on them bases, filler at the bottom, and yeah, good. Another job to do. Another job to do. I think that's about it. Yeah, the final thing I bought was I saw somebody had in a listing, because we're painting 132 and 135 at the moment for World War II. Somebody had a listing for 3 bags of 132 scale bricks. I bought the lot because we're not always going to paint, put these figures on sort of a grassy base. Some of them are going to be in like an urban base, or on an urban base, I should say, not in, on an urban base, with rubble and brick and whatever about. So I thought those bricks would be handy for that, just to add a bit of interest to the base. So yeah, it's all interesting. Our British overseas, I'm losing my voice a bit. Our British airborne are a work in progress. The biggest thing with these is faces. There's no point in doing the rest of it and then making a bodge of the faces. So I do the faces first, and I've done one to more or less completion, one face, because this is all new to me, painting faces in sort of detail. But you can get away with murder on 1/72 figures, you can get away with murder, but on these big figures it's a totally different ball game, as I'm now finding out. But here's our command figure. Hopefully you can see that. There's any way of me showing that. Let's see if I can bring the light down here. I'll put this one on. Hang on a second. Right, see if I can get a bit more light on this. No, it doesn't really. Well, you'll see him when he's done anyway, but I didn't think that was too bad an effort for my first sort of face. I didn't think that was too bad. I'm quite happy with that. If they all turn out like that, I'll be quite happy. If they all turn out like that, I'll be quite happy. There's a sort of technique of doing them, faces. But that's what I've been working on today. Flesh tone and faces and stuff. And just layering on the base colour and all this business. And what I also did, you see these guys with the helmets. It's not a good day. It's not a good day for lighting here for some reason. even though the sun's out, but the lighting in this room is not good. But what I did with the helmets was they got moulded into them, the sculpture is moulded into them. Was like, you know, supposed to be like a bit of leaf, bit of foliage, which they would have stuck in their helmets in the net for camouflage. But I thought you could do better than that. You could do better than that. So what I did before I primed the figures, I got a paintbrush and dotted on some dots of PVA glue, turned the figure upside down and dipped them in a box of sponge mix. So a little bits of sponge on there, and I'll let the glue dry. And once the glue had dried and the sponge was stuck, then I went over the thing with the primer. See if I can get something that's white here a minute. That's even worse. That's even worse. But you'll see them when they're done anyway. But it does give a much better effect. Much better effect. It's going to look good when they're painted, for sure. So that's what we've been doing today. I'm late with the giveaway this month, forgive me. I will get it sorted for you. And we might even give something away for 300 plus videos. So we'll do something for that. So I will sort it for you. What else? What else? Masterson's Stay Wet palette. The most, excuse my language here, but the most suitable word for the Masterson's Stay Wet palette is crap. Doesn't stay wet at all. It's crap. It's not so much the palette, so much it's the paper. Now everybody raves about this palette online. I don't know why. I don't get it. I'm sorry, folks. Auntie Karen doesn't get it. Why are you raving about this palette? I don't get it. One or two people are actually honest. It's only one, maybe two people that I've seen in all the videos I watched on the Masterson's Stay Wet palette who have been truthful. And they say the paper is crap. It's, well, it's basically unusable. It's like blotting paper. That's what it's like. It's like blotting paper. And you know what blotting paper does. And you can see the paint being sucked into the paper as you're working. And it just dries quicker than a dam in like minutes, and it's all sucked into the paper. It's hopeless. And this is supposed to be for water-based acrylic paint, so it says on the packaging. They only give you 5 sheets of paper, reason being, as I now know, that you're supposed to be able to reuse these sheets of paper time and again, which you can see. I've washed this off, washed the paint off. I could use this again, but actually it's unusable. It's unusable, which is unforgivable, because that renders that palette useless, doesn't it? You buy the thing, you take it out the packet to use it, and it's unusable because the paper is no good. I've done everything they say you should do, like soak this paper in boiling water for about 15 minutes. I did it twice. It was half an hour. One lady I watched on a video, she said what you want to do after you've boiled the paper is go over it with one of those rough sort of sponges you use to do the dishes. Go over it with that, which I did. It's still no good. The paint just soaks straight into the paper. It's just, you can see it in front of your eyes. You can watch this thing drying out. Sponge is sodden wet. Paper is done as per instructions, and you can see the paint just going straight into the damn thing. Totally unusable. And even if you use your own paper, which I'm now doing, it's still not ideal. It's still not ideal. The paint still dries out reasonably quickly on the shelf. I don't know what it is. Whether it's the sponge, I just can't get my head around it. I just can't get my head around it. And I just put the lid on it like that. I don't clip it right shut. If you clip it right shut, you've got a bugger of a job to open the thing again. And for me, with all the problems I get with my fingers, for me, trying to open that when it's clipped right shut, I had a bugger of a job earlier trying to open it. But it doesn't actually suffer with the condensation problem. Maybe that's because I've not clipped it right shut, I don't know. But I'll persevere with it for a bit longer. But it's the worst palette I've tried thus far. It's the worst one I've tried thus far. It's I don't know why people rave about it so much. I honestly don't. I don't get it. All the others have been, everything I've used so far has been better. Even my first experience with a wet palette, which was a sandwich plate. A long sort of sandwich plate, sort of like that, with sponge in it and baking paper. That was better than that. I mean, that really, that's unforgivable, because it renders it useless straight out the packet. You can't use it. You can't use it straight out the packet because the paint just soaks into that, and it just, within no time at all, your paint is just gone. It's just so. That's better stuff. Baking paper or baking parchment. So I can see me, once I've finished persevering with this palette, I can see me packing it away and actually never using it again, because it's just worst of the worst. Chocolate, as you know, I'm an enthusiast of the chocolate box, and it's best of everything so far. I will be trying some others. We will try some others. Yeah, very disappointed in that. Very disappointed. Army Painter are okay, but too small for me. I like a decent surface area. Green Stuff World, you've got to cut the paper down to a bit more manageable size, and just leave a gap when you put it in the fridge overnight. Let the air in, and then it's perfectly usable as a palette. But I will go back to the chocolate box before long. And I would say to anybody, if you're going to have a go at thinking about trying a wet palette for your painting, I would seriously recommend, before you spend any money, I would seriously recommend to you, make your own. Make your own wet palette. Baking paper, some sponge, a suitable container, preferably with a lid, and you should be okay, you should be good to go. Don't spend a huge sum of money on a wet palette. Certainly not the Masters and Stay Wet anyway. But it's an interesting experiment to try these different palettes and see how they perform. It's been interesting. So that's it. I'm going to tack on a bit of footage for Wellington Command Stand, so you can see that going around on the turntable. Might have another crack at these British Airborne in a minute. Excuse me a second, here it is. Excuse me a second, I just thought of something off the top of my head. Would this work? Ah, no, that's too much now, isn't it? No. You'll see him. You'll see him when he... That's not too bad. You'll see him when he's done anyway. But that's my first foray into proper face painting. I'm actually quite pleased with that. I'm quietly satisfied with that. If I can keep them all up to that level, I'll be happy. They're not going in any competitions or anything, so I'll be quite happy. If they're all at that standard, that's fine for me in the gaming table. As long as they look relatively human, I'm happy. I've seen many a very nicely painted figure on YouTube, 135, 132, only to be let down by a terribly painted face. So I think that one's okay. Anyway, hopefully get the rest like that. Yeah, we'll be happy. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so usual rules apply. Thanks for watching. Thanks for anybody that's subscribed recently. Thank you very much. Always nice to have new subscribers. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, push the button down below. Join the club. Join the club. Nice club to be in. Great fun. Nice bunch of people. Yeah, see you on the next one.